Hi, this is Dr. Philip MORPHEW, wellness chiropractor, energy medicine practitioner and intuitive healer. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about never giving up. I'm sure that many of you have had people tell you you can't do something, you'll never amount to anything. You've had someone put a pin in your dream balloon and it bursts and you think, well, maybe they're right. I'm hopeless, I'm useless, I can't do that. Well, I had a situation when I was around about 13, 14 in the second year of high school, which in Australia here is year 8, or back in the old days, second form. And we were asked in English class to write a short story after a long summer holiday. And my short story I wrote was about a little boy in a bathtub. And I grew up in the country, there wasn't a lot of water, and I used to love being the last in the bath. So I used to use my imagination, and in this story I basically was writing about the little boy who would get in the bath, pull the curtain around, and every now and again open the curtain and go, wow, there's the Great Pyramids of Giza, or wow, there's the Amazon River, or there's the Empire State Building. So my imagination was very fertile, but it definitely was a lot of fun and helped. So I wrote a story about this little boy. Anyway, long story short, the teacher a few days later comes back and got the pile of books on his desk, and he's calling out people and handing back the assignment. And there's more and more of the boys, all boys school, 30 boys in the class, keeps handing it back, and there's less and less, and I'm going, oh, I must have done really well, I must have done really well. I'm like, and the last one, and I was the very last one, and the teacher got me to stand up, and he said, Morphew, stand up. I stand up, and he said, this is the biggest piece of rubbish I've ever read, and he ripped my little story up and threw it in the bin, and he said, don't ever think you can pick up a pen and write. Don't ever think that you're creative in any way. And as a young boy in an all-boys school, I had to hide, because all I wanted to do was burst into tears. And whenever I went to try and do something or do something in my life, that little voice of that teacher goes, oh, Morphew, you're useless, you can't do this, used to trigger me and sit there and create doubt and stop me sometimes from attempting things. Many, many years later, I woke up one day and I'd had a dream that I wanted to write a book and I wanted it to get published in New York. But that little voice going, you can't do that, you're hopeless, you're not creative, kept nagging me. And I went, stuff you, I'm going to do this. And as a result, I ended up getting a little book published in New York called Soulful Reflections, a book of healing, a book of soulful poetry, a book of insight about love and life and liberty and death. And to that teacher in my old school, but better off, thank you for creating a fire in me that never ever went out. Never give up in your dreams, and never let anyone squash your dreams. Go out there and get whatever you feel you can do. Have a great day and never give up.